You know how the Democratic Party screwed over the rail workers? The rail workers were rejecting the contract. They didn't have any sick days in their contract. The rail, the glue that holds our economy together, the railroad. Well, the workers, they don't get to take sick days, and they get screwed over pretty hard. And so the Democratic Party intervened to screw over the workers and break their union. So that's called fascism. That's actual fascism. That's the actual thing.
You don't think they should have to call in 30 days ahead for when they're going to be sick?
So now 70 House and Senate members have sent a letter to President Obama. President Biden. Did you know President Biden could give them sick days with the stroke of a pen? Because Barack Obama did it for all the other federal employees, except rail workers. They had a carve out for them. And so they're urging Joe Biden to do it. They're sending a sternly worded letter, Kurt. They're absolutely not going to do anything or use any leverage to hold up any legislation or.
Oh, I know. Could they have Zelensky write it?
So there's a 70 House and Senate members sent a letter to Joe Biden saying, hey, why don't you go ahead and just give them sick days? This is funny. It's all such theater. The lawmakers thanked Biden for that's the way to get it. That's the way to get it. First, I want to say thanks. Great job on screwing over the rail workers.
First, I want to say thank you, sir. May I have another?
Look how they say they thanked Biden for his role in negotiating an agreement between freight rail carriers and unionized rail workers. He didn't negotiate an agreement. They didn't come to an agreement. Joe Biden imposed fascism and broke their fucking strike and their ability to organize. That's what Joe Biden did, and the Democrats. That's what they did. Friday, which kind of blah, blah, blah. They said while the agreement is much better than the initial proposal that the rail industry put out, well, of course, because you're talking about the first offer from the rail company. Well, the agreement that it was, by the way, it's not an agreement. They didn't agree to it. They keep reporting. It does not include any paid sick days. This is what the legislators are saying. The politicians are saying this. The agreement's much better than the initial, you see what they're doing, right? Yeah. They're pretending that they had an agreement.
Yeah,
there wasn't an agreement.
At a shady appliance store, and they make a fake price and lower it.
Yes. So they're begging Joe Biden. But the initial proposal from the industry, it has nothing to do with anything. Their initial proposal. Wow. The agreement Joe Biden imposed on the workers is the agreement that they didn't agree to. So it's not an agreement. It's an imposition. It's fascism. The disingenuousness of this whole premise of this letter. So they send a letter so they can virtue signal to the people they want to vote for them. And that's just so disingenuous, everything they're saying about it. The deal, which Congress approved and Biden signed last week, provides rail workers with a 24% increase in their wages over the course of 5 years. Right now, inflation is somewhere, what is inflation at? Was it at 8%, 9%?
Oh, no.
So in 5 years, that won't even,
it will stabilize.
It'll be half of what the inflation was. Anyway, it's easier for them to miss time for medical appointments, but does not include paid time off for them to recover from an illness or care for a family member. They don't get sick paid. They don't get sick days off. A separate proposal to add 7 paid sick days leave for workers passed the House, but failed in the Senate. Biden has said he supports providing the rail workers with sick leave. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. But he wanted it to be a separate bill from the agreement to make sure they couldn't get their sick leave, because that would make sure that the bill failed. The Congress members said in the letter that guaranteeing this paid sick leave would cost the rail industry $321 million, which is less than 2% of their annual profits. Not their annual budget, profits. If the rail industry can afford to spend $25.5 million in stock buybacks and dividends to enrich their wealthy shareholders, they can afford to treat their workers with the respect and the dignity that they deserve. The lawmakers wrote. Yeah, of course, but you guys just took that right of the workers to get that dignity away.
What railroad companies are these? I'm thinking of investing in.
Right?
I got all evil companies you got to invest in.
The lawmakers argued that Biden should expand on an executive order from former President Obama that established paid sick leave for federal contractors, but not including rail workers. They also said Labor Secretary Marty Walsh has the authority to set mandatory occupational safety and health standards for businesses affecting interstate commerce under the Occupational Safe and Health Act. Yes, they do. And Rolcana points it out, with the stroke of a pen, President Biden can grant 7 paid sick days to railroad workers. Whether through executive order, agency rulemaking, or other applicable authorities, he must act. Hey, did he vote? I'm sure he voted to screw the railroad workers, right?
I don't remember.
Do you think Rolcana did it? We'll see. Let's see. They added that in this letter, the letter also said that Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, boy, he's doing a bang-up job, isn't he? It's amazing, a guy with absolutely no accomplishments except that he was gay is now remember how he turned around South Bend, Indiana? This is called identity politics.
Why is there a documentary about? I remember, like, first of all, who cares about
is a
South
nothing.
Bend?
He's done fucking nothing.
Like, who cares that he's from South Bend? And also, why is there a documentary about him?
There's no reason for any of that. And in the middle of the biggest supply chain crisis in the history of humankind, he took a month off because him and his husband had a baby. That's the time you choose to have a baby. It's not like you got your husband accidentally pregnant.
Couldn't you use birth control?
Why not use birth control while you have this important job?
What is the month off for to get back down to his pre-baby weight?
His pre-baby weight. Over 115,000 rail workers in this country are looking to you to guarantee them the dignity at work they deserve and to ensure that our rail system is safe for its workers. So this is all just bullshit. They're just as disgusting as Pete Buttigieg is. These people writing this letter. You're virtue signaling. Yes, they are. Oh, thank God someone called them out. Celeste General Strike Holmes says, you're virtue signaling. You know damn well Biden isn't going to do anything. He was the who pushed the rejected contract. So what they're saying is he was the guy who pushed the rejected contract. Hello. That was a good line read by the way, on that. Thank you. I like to get a little props. I took Brian Reese. By the way, the Biden plan for strengthening worker organizing, collective bargaining, and unions. This is from their 2020 campaign website. You want to see? I'll highlight it for you. Biden will check the abuse of corporate power over labor and hold corporate executives personally accountable for violations of labor.
My name is a Biden.
My word is a Biden.
Sir, don't you give me sick days. Don't you do it.
Encourage and incentivize unionization and collective bargaining, and ensure that workers are treated with dignity and receive the pay, benefits, and workplace protections.
Well, maybe that's all they deserve.
Also, ensure that workers can exercise their right to strike without fear of reprisal. Unless, of course, a strike might hurt the economy, in which case Biden pledges to step in and force workers to accept a deal they'd previously rejected. So, fuck off to everybody in government, and especially Joe Biden. And the Democrats, because they're in power right now, and they're the ones who did this.
I'll tell you, Jimmy, I'm putting all my eggs in this Santos guy. I think he's a scrappy Jew who's going to really... scrappy Catholic, practicing Catholic Jew.
He's a practicing Catholic Jew with a mother who died 3 or 4 times.
I think he gets what these people are going through because he lost his mother in the Holocaust.
Yeah. Everybody were doing live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles in January and February in Los Angeles. And then we're going to Tempe, Palm Springs, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Nashville. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets and become a premium member while you're there.